What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? My name is Nathan. I am one half of the Heel Brothers, and welcome into our first game preview in the ACC tournament as the number 4 North Carolina Tar Heels are set to take on at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today for the third time this season, the Florida State Seminoles. And I'll be honest with you guys, if there's a game North Carolina can lose, it's against a team like Florida State. Both times these two teams faced this season, they were tough and just gritty back and forth games. And North Carolina had to find a way to be able to dig themselves out of a deficit against Florida State. As you know, Florida State can score. They're big, they're long, they're built to beat a team like Carolina. And North Carolina has to be careful with this team because considering how they're playing, who knows? They're going to give Carolina a run for their money, that's for sure. But both times these two teams faced this year, North Carolina came up with the wins in both: a 78-70 win against Florida State in the Dean Dome, and then down in Florida State, a 75-68 win. Like I said, both games really gritty. They're tough. They were back and forth. They were highly contested, and Carolina had to really dig deep, especially on the defensive end, to be able to find a way to defend against these guys and to find a way to score on the other end. And, you know, I fully expect Florida State to come out excited. They're playing pretty good right now. Them and Boston College, by the way. You know, Boston College is a team you got to watch for because who knows what they can do as well. But, you know, Florida State's right there as well. I personally think this team has been better than their record has shown all season long. And I believe that, you know, if you look at it, I think we can, you know, say, I think a lot of people can say that as well. You know, unfortunately, some bad beats, some close losses for them. And, you know, they are sitting where they are. But let's break this game down for a little bit. So Florida State comes in 17-15 on the season. That is 10-10 in the conference. And North Carolina comes in 25-6 and 17 in the conference. North Carolina being the number 1 seed in the ACC tournament. They did not have to play the first 2 days of the tournament, and now they've got this one. North Carolina does open up as a 10.5-point favorites. I am not taking the over on that personally. I just can't do that right now. As good as North Carolina's playing, and yes, they're playing good. They got the big win against Duke. I am not confident against this Florida State team to say that, yeah, North Carolina's going to go win, you know, 10, 11 points, you know, 15 maybe easy. I can't personally say that just because of how these two teams can be. Does North Carolina have the possibility to be able to do that? Absolutely, 100% with you. But am I confident right now in saying, yeah, that's going to happen? Not me. I'm glad Vegas thinks that's a little bit different than I do. Hey, you know, they're the experts, quote unquote. The leaders in stats for the Florida State Seminoles is Jameer Watkins across all 3 points, rebounds, and assists, as he leads the team with 15 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 2 assists per game. And our stat leaders have not changed, as we've talked about throughout the season, as RJ Davis leads us with 21.1 points per game, Armando Bacot with 10 rebounds a game, and Elliot Cadeau with 4 assists per game. Stats kind of come down a little bit for RJ and Elliot. Perfectly fine and understandable. It happens that way, but still up there really good. And it's good to see that these top 3 guys have stayed in their respective categories there for, you know, pretty much the entire season. And all 3 guys are having just great seasons, in my opinion. When you look at the two teams statistically, they're pretty different, but also some similarities here as well, as Florida State comes in scoring about 76 points per game on 45% shooting, 33 rebounds per game, 12 assists, 4 blocks, and 9 steals. And that right there is exactly what I say North Carolina has to worry about, is look at the difference here in steals between the two teams. So let's break down Carolina really quickly. They are scoring 81 points per game on 45% shooting, 40 rebounds a game, 14 assists, 4 blocks, and only 5. You know what? We'll say 6 steals for that matter. It's 5.9. Hey, we'll take it. We'll say 6 steals here, but that's a big disparity right there between Carolina and Florida State. Florida State's really good defensively, and they have the ability to poke the ball free and create some opportunities for themselves to get down court and maybe even get a free layup or a dunk or an assist, something. Maybe even a wide open 3-pointer in transition. You never know. But Florida State's playing really good. They're playing really well, and I think North Carolina, in my opinion, has got to be careful with this team. This is going to be a tough and gritty game once again. The last time these two teams played down in Florida State, a little bit of chirping back and forth between Armando, and I forget exactly who the kid was, but a little bit of chirping there between the two guys, and there's some animosity between these two teams. And if you don't believe that Florida State's going to bring the intensity and the heat, going to be sadly mistaken when they roll in, because they're going to hit Carolina with everything they possibly can. This is a team that knows they're not making the NCAA tournament. This is the only tournament they're getting in this year. And as good as I think that they possibly are, considering that they're not getting into the tournament, the March Madness tournament, they're going to take everything they have out on North Carolina and try and make this tournament, the ACC tournament, theirs to win. And I'm not going to lie, both Florida State and Boston College right now are pretty dang good. And if the top seeds aren't careful, and North Carolina as the number one seed in the ACC tournament, the history doesn't bode too well for North Carolina. I would personally like to believe that, this is Carolina's ACC to lose. I've basically said that all season, but they're going to have some tough matchups on the way. It's not just about, we'll just, we'll probably have the hardest matchup, when we get to the championship. That may even be Duke. Who knows? No, you have a potential chance to get knocked out today if you're not careful. So, in my opinion, North Carolina is going to have to do exactly what North Carolina has been doing and continue to grit and get back. I really love what they've done defensively, especially when they got there against Duke. Really finding that defensive prowess once again, that early season defensive prowess that we were talking about against them and also Notre Dame. And I want to see them continue that right now. And to see that they was doing it over the last couple of games before the end of the regular season, it makes me feel good, considering that, okay, if they're going to start playing like this and they end up doing it today, hey, North Carolina can win by over 10.5 points. They can win in double digits. They can score, pretty consistently against this team. They will be able to win the game, like Vegas believes that they will. But also, they could potentially go and knock out this tournament, maybe go win the ACC title. And then if they're playing the defense that we saw in the early season and that we saw in the last couple of games of the regular season, they play it through this tournament and they play it through the next, they have a good chance, in my opinion, to go out and win the national championship. And that's a whole other story that we'll get to. But it's fun to talk about. It's definitely good to see this team playing the way that it is. But I am nervous today for the Tar Heels as they go to take on Florida State. This is a team that's primed and ready, and a team that's hungry and wants the big win. They owe one to Carolina. There's always been a saying that it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season, and that is true. But unless you're Jeff Boeheim, which I found out last night that he said, if you beat him twice, yeah, you can beat him a third time. And hey, that's the first I've ever heard from Boeheim, but more power to him, man. I hope he's enjoying his retired career over there. But it's hard to beat a team a third time because you guys know each other so well. And, if North Carolina is able to do it, by all means, hot dog, here we go. Because, in my opinion, North Carolina is the front runner to win this thing. I think the hardest test for Carolina is going to be potentially a Duke matchup. We'll see. But as far as this one goes, I like Carolina in it. And my score prediction is actually probably going to be pretty close to the second game. The second game was 175-68. I'm going to say 78-70. That's actually the score of the first game. I think it's 78-70. North Carolina gets a win. And, I like that cushion a little bit. Would love to see them push it out farther, but I'm going to take 78-70 right now. I'm taking the under right now for the Carolina Tar Heels. But, hey, tell me what you guys think down in the description below. I definitely want to know what you guys think. Do you believe Carolina's getting the big win? Are they going, over 10.5? Let me know down in the comments. And also, really quickly, if you all want to, me and Alan are doing a Hill Brothers bracket challenge / giveaway, and I'll quickly go over the terms with you. But if you want to play with us, the bracket challenge will be played on ESPN. All participants must be subscribed to the Hill Brothers channel. Email us at our email right there. It's hillbrothers89@gmail.com with bracket entrant as the subject, followed by your name on YouTube to verify your entry. In the description, you will receive the code to get in after you are verified, and the deadline to enter is Wednesday, March 20th at 3 p.m. Well, if you're going to join in to a March bracket challenge / giveaway, let's talk about the giveaway here. The prizes will be awarded to the top 3 at the end of the tournament, and the prizes awarded are the following. First place, any item in the Fanatics store not exceeding the amount of $120. Second place, not exceeding the amount of $60, and third place, not exceeding the amount of $25. So if you want to win some gear, I don't even care if you could be any fan of any sport out there. As long as it's on the Fanatics store and you're one of those top 3 guys, you can pick anything in the item shop and we'll send it to you free of charge for you guys from us. So come out here, have some fun with us in the ESPN bracket challenge as we get ready to take care of the NCAA tournament and have a fun time with that. And I'm absolutely looking forward to the tournament this year. And I got to try not be emotional when I go through and pick my things. And me and Alan will do a live pick show here as well for you all. So anyway, be sure and go enter that. As you saw before, if you need to look at the terms, just rewind, pause it, look at it, and go send us that email. We definitely want to see you out there, and let's have some fun and can maybe win some prizes, man. Who knows? Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. And as always, go Heels.
You don't want none.
I'm good, I'll be, I'll die, I'll be